Hey there, friend. Welcome to another Roots of Peace yoga practice. Be buddies with balance. Luna's working on it right now. Good job. Today's video is all about balance in the body physically. Last week during our Happy Fall video, we talked about balance kind of spiritually, emotionally. We are in the fall equinox now. It happened on the 23rd of September. So fall is really about coming into balance, shifting into that. Oh my gosh, I'm so busy, it's crazy, summer vibe into, let's chill out. It's fall, it's cooling down, it's time to chill. I did learn, however, this week that balance physically is very, very important for your health. And it's something that I've had on my radar. We all kind of do, like, balance physically is very, very important. But that was the inspiration for the video this week. I learned some new information that I'll share with you during practice. So I wanted to get in some good, like, balancing poses. We'll do tree pose, we'll do half stork pose, or stork pose, excuse me. I always call it half stork. Anyway, you'll need a block and your mat, and we'll mainly be upright, so on our feet for this practice. We'll probably hit our backs a little bit, so be ready to get active and focus on your balance for this practice. I will see you in a few moments and we'll get started. Hey buddy, welcome to Be Buddies with Balance. Today's video, we're gonna start with a few Hasanas. Like I said in the intro, we're gonna be up on our feet most of the time. But first, let's take a moment to root down through our feet, open the palms, taking your mountain pose. You can have your eyes open or closed. I just want you to really get down into the body. Notice the position of your knees, slight bend, maybe you like bounce a little bit just to get things. Root down through the soles, evenly in the four corners. Make sure that all of your joints are stacked up. So knees over ankles, hips over knees, and shoulders over hips. Taking a few breaths just to be with your beautiful body. We talked about balance in Happy Fall. This balance, we're mainly focusing on the physical body. As we age, our balance and our strength and our muscles starts to degrade. And so we want to keep that as strong as possible throughout our lives. So let's take 2 more breaths in our mountain pose. You can open your eyes if they're closed, or you can keep them closed down, that's totally fine. We're gonna do a quick little activity. I've done this before in videos. You're just gonna start to shift your weight. So shifting forward, maybe coming into your toes, trying not to claw, but pushing into the pads of your toes, and then sending the weight back so that you're on your heels. And you can kind of play with your balance just to see how far back you can go. My toes are lifting off the mat, but maybe you try to keep them down. Just playing with that balance. Make sure you don't strain your back when you go backwards. So you can make this kind of exaggerated distribution of weight, feeling into how far forward you can go, trying to keep the feet flat, maybe the heels lift a little bit, and then going back behind you. You can lift the toes and the balls of your feet just to play around. So now we're gonna shorten that up a little bit, make it smaller. This is an activity you can do while you're waiting in line at Walmart or at the bank or wherever. And if you condense it down so that you're barely shifting the weight, but you can still feel into it, coming into the balls of the feet, heels of the feet, balls of the feet, heels of the feet. You can start to notice and feel into that shift in the weight and what your body does when your weight shifts. I always say we want to have a good map of the body. We want to have a good blueprint of what our personal bodies are doing, because we're all different. We're all unique. There are no 2 bodies alike. Even if there's twins, like, you pilot your spaceship differently, essentially. And balance is a big part of that. I'm sure you've had a moment where you've lost your balance and maybe you've caught yourself, or maybe you've actually fallen. So we want to make sure that we have strength so that we can catch ourselves, so that we don't fall down too much. And I'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. Let's inhale to take our arms nice and up for extended mountain. Exhale, drop down, forward fold. We're going to do some Hasanas just to warm things up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower down to fold. Reach to extended mountain. Lower down to fold. Really feel into your feet. Notice where your weight is at. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Root down to rise up. Extended mountain. And we'll do one more. Lower down. Let the crown hang heavy. Push the tail high. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach the crown forward. Push the hips back. Lower down, back to your fold. And bring it on up. Extended mountain. Palms will come down through the heart. Now you're going to take your legs just a little bit wider. So we're playing with that weight distribution. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So you can go super wide, or maybe you keep it like contained in a little bit more. Once you have the position of your feet, I'm going to go about like halfway for mine. Root, hinge from the hips, and take that forward fold. Slight bend in the knees. Make sure you're not rounding into your back too much. I mean, you're going to a little bit, depending on how your body is. 2 more breaths. Inhale for your halfway lift now. Keep your legs wide. Exhale down, forward fold. Deep breath in, come up, extended mountain. And then take 5-pointed star. We're gonna hold here just for a little bit. Again, finding activation in the body before we get into our balancing postures. My husband and I started watching this limited series on Netflix, and it really like sparked the idea for this video. It's called Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones. It's kind of a hard title to remember, but yes, Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones. It's on Netflix. As you exhale, you can lower the arms and bring the feet back in line with the hips. So it talks about in certain parts of the world, you have these people that live to be 100 or over. Let's inhale to come back up to extended. Drop down to your forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. And now catch your elbows and let's hang upside down and ragdoll for a little bit. So you can sway if you want, playing with that weight distribution. You're going to stay upside downsies and continue to breathe in your ragdoll. So these blue zones, I think there's like 8 of them throughout the world, have these people that are living to be 100 or up into their 90s, and they are vital and they are active. And it was a really cool concept that I like hadn't really thought about. And one of the big things that the host of this show studied is what these people's lifestyles are like. And the first episode takes place in Okinawa, Japan. And it was just fascinating. But one of the big keys to them staying vital and active is their balance in their bodies. They ride their bikes, they're in their gardens, they are moving. And they're in yoga, they're squatting down and doing stuff. So their range of motion and their activity plays a huge role in their health, especially when they become elderly. As you exhale, you can drop down to your forward fold. Halfway lift. Back down to fold, reach to extended, and bring your hands down to heart center. We're gonna take it slow for this first balance. So you're gonna take the weight into the right foot, bring the left foot up over so you're on your toes or the ball of your foot, and then you're just gonna reach your arms up like you're in an X almost. And then maybe you lean a little bit and maybe you lift the left leg up. So holding here, engage the core to stay nice and sturdy and stay with the breath. But in this show, they were talking about how one of the leading causes of injuries and fatalities in the elderly is falling down. And I was like, oh, of course it is. It was just, something that I don't think about because I haven't had to deal with that a lot yet in my life, but it's definitely coming. My parents are, getting older. They're very active though, so thank goodness for that. They're super, super strong people, and they're not super old yet either, so that's totally fine. One more breath here. And then we'll lower everything, shake things out. But as we age, our muscles and our tissues start to degrade. And so yoga or any physical activity keeps that muscle, keeps that strength so that you don't lose your balance and so you don't wobble and then fall over when you do get into increased age ranges. So send the weight into the left foot, kickstand on the right toes, X the arms. Stay here. Maybe you just tap those toes as you lean to the side, or maybe you extend that leg up. Ooh, I popped my hip. Okay. But it was just like kind of a big eye-opener for me. It was like balance really matters. Physical balance, physical sturdiness is a big part of your overall well-being. And so thinking about that when you do your yoga practice, even if you're not fully balanced like this, like you want to try to maintain as sturdy as you can throughout your life. We'll hold here for one more. And then lower back down. Shake things out. And even if you can't balance on one leg, that's okay. It's something that you can kind of work towards in your practice. We're gonna move into tree pose now. So let's ground down on the right foot again. Kickstand on the left toes next to you. You can bring that up to your calf or up to your thigh. And if you need to grab some wall space for stability, maybe you get a chair to hold on to, that is quite all right. These aren't crutches, they're helpers, they're buddies. Just like our theme today. Maybe your arms come up. Really focus on rooting down evenly into the four corners of your feet. I know I say that a lot, but it's good to spread the foot out so that you can really sink in for stability. And just noticing what's working in the body. Like our legs are activated, my core is activated, and I'm just really focused on holding up and being with the breath. Balance postures are also really good if you are up in your head a lot, because you kind of have to pay attention to your body when you are focusing on these postures that are like one-legged or they're just like a little bit tricky. Let's exhale to drop everything down. Shake out, kick out. Maybe you don't, maybe you absorb the energy. Totally all right. And then let's bring the weight into the left foot, kickstand on the right toes, stay here. And if you're just playing with your balance and you can't lift your foot off for tree pose, that's okay. Even just this little bit is really, really great. And anything is better than nothing. So calf or thigh, I'm gonna leave mine low. And then the arms can come up or you can leave them at heart center. Another good thing about these balancing postures is it's another good way for you to get to know yourself. So maybe you discover that like, oh, my left side is sturdier than my right side, so I'm gonna work on my right side a little bit more because there's more strength that needs to happen there, or whatever it is. But that limited series on Netflix, I found it so interesting that, and of course, like your range of motion is going to affect your overall health. Your strength in your body and in your base is going to affect how you age. And so keeping that in mind when you're doing your exercise routines, like how can you build a strong foundation now so as you age, it helps you instead of hinders you. Exhale to drop, kick out, or not. Totally up to you. We're gonna take some half sunnies. So let's inhale, reach up, extended. Exhale, lower down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Bring it up to extended mountain, and we're gonna sit back for chair pose. If you're working on stability, especially in your base, in your legs, chair pose is a really good one for that. We're gonna engage our core a little bit, so draw your tummy muscles in gently, and then tail's reaching back behind you, arms are gently reaching forward, maybe they're high. I keep mine low because of my neck muscles. But this is a good way to get those muscles built in the legs and to stay connected and strong. 2 more breaths. You can inhale to come up extended. Drop down, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Reach to extended mountain. And bring the hands back to heart. Now we're gonna move into half stork pose, or I did it again, into stork pose. It's not half stork pose, I don't know. I've said it that way for like 4 years now, so I've been catching myself. So let's take our weight into the left foot this time. Right toes come up into a stiletto toe, we'll call it. 6-degree the arms, tarantula the wrists. Maybe you stay here, maybe you lift the leg, flex the foot 90 degrees, and come into the breath. But balance is important for lots of different things. I've fallen like multiple times. Sometimes we just get like up in our heads and we lose focus, and maybe I run into something or trip down the stairs. Like all of these things have happened in my 20s. I was doing this even. So throughout your life, it's good to have good balance. If you want to take the twist, you're going to drop the left hand to the right knee. Right arm goes back behind you, gaze off over to the right. And if you want to go a little further, left hand can catch the right foot and straighten that leg. Mine's not straight, but you get the idea. One more breath in your twist. You're gonna inhale to come back up for your stork. And I'm gonna pivot just so you can see what's going on. Now we're gonna lower into our airplane pose. So palms facing down, right legs behind you, maybe the toes tap on the mat for a little bit more stability. One more breath. As you exhale, the hands can drop to the mat. Lift the right leg, standing half split. And exhale, release, forward fold. Halfway lift. Take your fold. Inhale to come up to extended mountain. Carve the hands down through heart center and release out to either side for mountain pose. Take a few moments to catch our breath. Close the eyes down. Check in with your joints. Notice the position of your body. Feel into the soles of your feet and kick it here with your breath for a little bit of time. There have been a few winters where like it gets icy and so having good uprightness, good balance is good to catch yourself if you're like about to fall on the ice. And we've all done it. I did it in college one day and like looked around to make sure nobody saw me. Of course, like the person that saw me happened to be somebody I know. He came over to make sure I was okay, but so there's lots of benefits to being sturdy, to having good balance so that you're not super wobbly as you hoof about from A to B during the day. 2 more breaths. Sending the energy down, grounding into the feet. And slowly open your eyes and then take the weight into the right foot, kickstand on the left toes, 60 degree the arms, let the wrists fall, fingers fall. And then you can stay here tapping on the toes or bring that foot up, flex 90 degrees in that leg. And if you do find that your balance could use a little bit of work, that is quite all right. I've seen multiple ranges of balance in multiple ages of people. I teach yoga in a lot of different areas, and so my demographics really range from class to class. And it's very interesting to see like where people are at physically. No judgments, no attachments, anything like that. It's just everybody's on their own journey, and that's what makes yoga so special. If you want to take the twist, right hand can drop to the left knee, left arm will go back behind you as your gaze goes off to the left. And again, if you need to go further, you can catch the left foot with the right hand and straighten or attempt to straighten that leg as I am doing. You can come out of your twist here. Ooh, here we go with the pivot. Pivot didn't work on this side this time. Anyway, take yourself back to your airplane pose. The left leg goes back behind you, palms facing down out to either side of your hips. Maybe you tap on the foot, maybe not. Yeah, my balance on my right side is wanting today. I'm left-handed, so I don't know if that's why my left side is sturdier. And then you can drop the hands, lift the left leg, standing half split. Trying to point the left toes down towards the floor. One more breath here. Exhale, drop, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Reach to extended mountain. Lower down to fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Rise to extended. And bring the hands down through heart center. We're gonna move into warrior 3. So let's take the left foot forward this time. Right leg's gonna come back behind us. It's very similar to airplane pose, but your arms are out in front of you like Superman instead of back behind you like an airplane. So when you're ready, bring the chest parallel to the floor. Maybe you lift the right leg and then extend your arms out in front of you for your warrior 3. Yes. Left ankle is nice and wobbly today. Balance postures are also important if you do have weak ankles. I have a lot of friends that have sprained their ankles multiple times. And so things like this can really build strength in that ankle joint because you definitely need it. That little joint gets So much work throughout the day. And exhale, let's come up and out. Whew. Take a moment to kick out, or maybe you just kick it in mountain pose for a little bit. We'll move to the other side. You don't have to flip on your mat. I'm just doing it so I can stay open. Bring the weight into the right foot this time. Left leg comes behind you. And when you're ready, you can push off, landing in that warrior 3. Oh yeah, I said my left side was my sturdy side, and then it was super wobbly. I think I'm just wobbly today, which is quite all right. We all have our days where we're a little off kilter. 2 more breaths. And carefully come back down. Just gonna kind of stomp things out. Let's make our hands into fists and just kind of like do some nice self-massage. It probably doesn't look that way, but if you haven't done this before and you kind of start gentle, but it does feel pretty good, especially if you have stiff and sore muscles, which I usually do. These load-bearing exercises that we're doing are also very, very good for your bones. So as we age, it's harder to get nutrients. Like we start to absorb things differently, and it's harder for our bodies to really get the things that it needs. Calcium being one of those things. And so when you're doing these load-bearing exercises, it helps with your bone density. This is something that you can kind of open the palms and just kind of get some blood flow going. That was one of the things that I was told in college because of my frame, that I needed to really focus on my calcium and my bone density, because I will be at risk for osteopenia and osteoporosis as I get older. And so that's one of the things that I lifted weights in my early 20s, but I think yoga is really my niche for exercise. We're going to move into half moon pose now. So grab your block. Maybe you don't need it. And if you don't have a block, something that's sturdy like this that you can kind of grip onto. And if you don't have a block, you don't necessarily need it, but maybe you just play with this pose differently or you skip this one. So point the right toes towards the block. We're gonna extend our arms out, teeing over the legs. Deep breath in, and then exhale, drop the right arm down, either to the floor or to the block. Left arm's gonna lift into the sky, and left leg is also in the air for your half moon. You can keep your gaze down at the floor, or you can rotate it off to the side. This is where I usually lose my balance, so I'm gonna keep mine at the floor. You can also take your gaze up to your left hand if your stability is good to go that way. We're working into our side bodies. Right hamstring is really feeling it. One more breath. And we'll come back up and out. Let's take a half sunny. Inhale, reach, extended mountain. Exhale, melt down, fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Breathe in, bring it up, extended. And drop the hands down through heart center. We're gonna take a quick mountain pose break. Eyes can be open or closed. Just be into the breath, be into the body for 3. You can open your eyes and prep yourself for your half moon on the left. So left foot will come forward, tee the arms out to the side. I kind of have my legs in triangle mode, we'll call it. Deep breath in, exhale to take your half moon, left hand to the block, or you can drop it all the way down to the floor if that's where you're at. I like a little bit more height. My limbs are short, at least that's my excuse. And again, gaze down at the mat, or it can come open, or you can take it up to your right hand. I'm gonna keep mine down at the floor so I stay nice and sturdy. And just notice the wobbles and how you compensate for those. These are all really important things to be aware of. We don't want to have a Gumby body as we age. We really want to try to be firm and tone. And maybe not firm and tone, that might be the wrong word, but we really want to try to have good sturdiness about our frame. One more breath. And let's come back up. Good job. You can set the block off to the side. We'll inhale to come up extended mountain. Lower down to fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Reach to extended. And hands come back down to the heart. We're just going to do some calf raises now. I do these quite often. And take them slow. See if you can inhale to come up and exhale to lower down. Maybe you press into the wall just a little bit with your fingertips so that you can have a little bit more balance. You can also have a chair in front of you. Maybe if you have an office job or something, this is a good thing to do. Like you can get up, come behind the chair, and just hold it and do these calf raises. And you can speed these up. I like to take them nice and slow so I can play with my balance. This is also, as I've said it in other videos, it's a good way to pump your lymphatic system to like get things moving and take good care of that as well. You'll feel these in your calves, maybe up into your hammies. Again, building nice, strong, sturdy legs. This has happened to me a few times. I have some boots that are like really slippery, and when I go off my deck, that one day I did actually fall. My feet just like went right out from underneath me. But I hate that feeling when you're about to fall and then you catch yourself, but it kind of like jacks your adrenaline for a second and you're like, oh my God. So it's good to do the yoga or any sort of like strengthening activity so that you don't have those like, oh, I'm gonna die, and then you don't moments. Okay, so let's kick out one more time with our legs. Those calf raises were kind of intense. This balancing posture is a little bit more simplified. You're just gonna bring the weight into the left leg. You can have your hands on your hips and just take the right toes out in front of you, and then you can tap, or you can lift the leg, flex the foot, and it can be low or it can be high. So you can kind of go wherever you need to go. Totally stay here, or maybe now you rotate the right leg out to the side, and then reach your left arm out. And then you can reach the right arm, so your arms are in a T, and lifting the right leg out to the side of you. And your gaze can go over your left hand, you can keep it straight. One more breath. And we'll exhale and drop. Shake things out, do your thing, and then we'll take it to the other side. So hands on the hips to start, left foot points in front, lift that leg. Holding, holding, holding. And now maybe you bring it out to the side, reach the right arm out, left arm can come out, and then you can look over those right hands. Or maybe you keep your gaze forward, which is what I'm gonna do. So yeah, certain poses, my left side's like good to go and my right side's not, and then other poses, it's the opposite. So the body continues to be a mystery. You can exhale to drop, shake out. We'll inhale to reach extended mountain. Exhale down to fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Rise to extended mountain. Lower down fold. Half lift. Take your fold. Let's hop or step back to high plank now. So we've been mainly working on our legs. We're just gonna hold high plank for 2 breaths, get a little bit of arm activation going. You can drop the knees to tabletop, and then let's swoop around. We're gonna land in half corpse pose. So this particular video today, we stayed upright and we did kind of like one-legged postures. But that's not what balance is all about, as I'm sure you know. So any sort of muscle activation where you're being with the body and focusing on that balance, like is working for you. Let's inhale to press the hips up for bridge. So this isn't, we're rooted down on both of our feet and our shoulder blades, but this is also a good one for balance. You're stretching the quads, you're being with your core, and you're rooting down through your feet and strengthening the knees and the ankles. We balance in happy baby, we balance in boat pose. So this one just happened to be like upright, like one-legged postures, but That is not to say that those are the only poses you can do to build your balance. Absolutely not. Exhale to lower everything down. Let's grab our block. If you don't have it, that's quite all right. So we're gonna take supported bridge, just to kind of wind the practice down. Inhale, lift the hips, slide the block. If you have a bolster, you can use that as well. And then find the prop under your sacrum. And we're gonna rest here just for a little bit. Last week's video, I did mention that fall is all about coming into balance. It's about unity and harmony and equality with your body and your body's relationship to what's going on in nature. And so one of the big things with this balance in autumn is pausing and slowing down, which is really hard for some of us. But taking these moments where the body's not in a ton of activation right now, but being able to rest and listen and breathe is very important, especially coming into fall. You can stay in supported bridge. Maybe you're in bridge, and anytime you need to take a break, you sure can. Maybe you come into supported shoulder stand. Flexing through the feet, maybe you wiggle the toes out a little bit. I like to have my hands on my belly so I can feel my body breathe. But maybe they're out to the side. You can play with your legs a little bit if you need some more core activation, or maybe you just take them wide. Really be where your body needs you to be, where your being needs you to be. As you exhale, drop the feet back down to the mat. Inhale to lift the hips, take the block or the prop, whatever it is, out from underneath you. Lower down. And I think we're gonna close, I know, that's what we're doing. We're gonna close with reclining butterfly. So soles of the feet together. We just kind of wanna open those hips after all of that activation. Deep belly breaths. 3 here. You can plant the feet nice and slow for half corpse and then roll to either side, fetal position. Eyes closed down. Use this last moment of your practice to just tune into breath and body. Notice the sounds around you, the temperature of the air, any smells. Really dig into your senses. Mindfully begin to press yourself up to a seated position. Hands at your heart, eyes can be open or closed. Thank you so much for being buddies with your balance and being here with me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate your time and your energy and your self-care. It's so, so important. With all the love and so much light, namaste. Quick shout out before I forget to my buddy, Bubba Starts and Ends, had to sport the shirt today. He's been such a fan, I should say, of my work, like my Pine Girl Arts business, my Roots of Peace Yoga business. Bubba has just been like very, very supportive, and so I wanted to take a moment to shout out to Bubba. If you're watching, like, I really, really appreciate you. And if you haven't, check them out. Their music is super groovy. I'm really gonna try to make one of their shows in October. I'm so excited. But yeah, Starts and Ends, they're on the Facebook, they're on the Instagram, so check out their music. It's super damn cool. Hope you have a lovely, lovely rest of your evening or night. Take care, my friend.